You are losing her every day, not because she's drifting away, but because you're too present. And with every message sent, every plan initiated, every problem solved by you alone, her respect for you evaporates a little more. This video will show you what really happens when you finally pull back from your woman, and why this move might be the only thing that can still save your relationship or free you from it with dignity. Listen closely to this. Common sense sold you a poisoned lie. They told you that relationships are saved with more effort, more presence, more availability, that a real man doesn't give up, that you need to always be there, always solving, always chasing after her. The result? You've become an emotional hostage in your own relationship. The real mechanics work in reverse. The more available you make yourself without reciprocity, the cheaper you become. The more you chase validation, the more she distances herself. The more you try to fix things alone, the more she sees you as an emotional employee, not a valuable partner. Here's the truth nobody told you. A man's strategic withdrawal isn't an escape, but a crucial test that reveals his partner's true investment and respect for him, rebalancing the relationship dynamic by forcing her to confront the reality of his absence and value. Withdrawal is the relationship thermometer. It measures the real temperature of the relationship, revealing the level of investment, respect, and attraction that still exists, without your constant intervention to artificially warm it up. You spend years pumping heat into a furnace that's already out, and you refuse to look at the gauge because you're afraid of what you'll find. Now, pay attention to the 7 tactical patterns you need to master. First, strategic silence. This means withdrawing non-essential attention and communication to create space and allow her to feel your absence. Practical example, you stop responding immediately to non-urgent messages. You stop initiating those superficial daily conversations about her day that only serve to make you feel present. You don't disappear, but you stop being the constant entertainer of the relationship. Second, reorientation of energy. Redirect the time and effort previously dedicated to her towards your own growth and goals. A 32-year-old man I know started dedicating 3 nights a week to the gym and a side design project he had abandoned years ago. His wife noticed the change within 2 weeks and started asking what was going on, not out of genuine concern, but because the relationship's frame had shifted. Third pattern, boundary maintenance. Refuse to give in on important points that were previously neglected or disrespected. This can be something as simple as not answering calls outside of agreed-upon times when you're with friends, or focused on something of your own. Did you establish that Monday and Thursday are your free nights? Stick to it. She will test you. She always tests. Fourth, perceptible scarcity. Decrease your availability, making your presence and time more valuable and desired. It's not about pretending to be busy, but about genuinely being busy with your own plans instead of always being available to her at any moment. The difference is brutal. She'll detect faking in 20 minutes. Genuine purpose. She'll feel it in her bones. Fifth pattern, attentive observation. Use the withdrawal to observe her reactions without intervention or immediate judgment. You notice if she initiates contact, if she seeks to solve problems, if she shows concern, or if she completely ignores the change. This observation is pure gold. It gives you real data about where you are, not where you'd like to be. Sixth, recalibration of value. Act in a way that demonstrates self-worth and that your happiness doesn't depend exclusively on her. This can include posting about your new activities or achievements on social media without focusing on your relationship with her. You live, she sees. Seventh pattern, controlled emotional disengagement. Reduce the intensity of emotions invested in the relationship without becoming cold or distant in a passive-aggressive way. You no longer get frustrated with small things that previously caused friction. You remain calm because your emotional core is genuinely no longer exclusively invested there. Let me tell you 3 real stories that will illustrate this in practice. Mark, 34, an engineer, married for 5 years. He felt like a father to his wife, who rarely took initiative at home or in their social life, expecting him to solve everything, from dinner to vacation planning. His decision was clear. He focused on a personal programming project He had shelved and established weekly outings with friends, reducing his availability to solve her problems or plan all the couple's social events. The cost was immediate. She got irritated, accused him of selfishness, of lack of affection, of having changed. He maintained his stance. After a few tense weeks, something began to shift. She started getting more involved in household chores, proposing activities for the couple, showing more initiative. The thermometer showed there was still some heat there, but she needed to feel that he could actually pull back to value his presence. Second story. Peter, 29, a salesman, in a serious relationship for 2 years. His girlfriend frequently left him hanging or changed plans at the last minute, with little consideration for his time. He reacted by stopping his adaptation to last-minute cancellations. He started saying no to sudden invitations that inconvenienced him and proposing alternatives that respected his time. She tested his limits several times with flimsy excuses, attempts to make him feel guilty, emotional drama. He held his frame. The result? She learned to respect his time more, to plan better, to value commitments. Respect returned because he demonstrated that he had a non-negotiable limit. Third, a more serious story. Charles, 40, an entrepreneur, divorced with children. He was in a relationship where his partner used him as an emotional therapist and resource provider, but never prioritized him or showed significant reciprocity. Every crisis of hers became his responsibility. Every problem turned into an unpaid therapy session. He established clear boundaries about the time he would dedicate to listening to her problems and the type of help he would offer, redirecting his focus to his children and his company. She accused him of being insensitive, of not caring, of being selfish, and she pulled away. He accepted the withdrawal and focused on his children and his company. Over time, he realized that the relationship was completely one-sided and not worth the emotional cost. The thermometer showed that there was no real investment from her. The relationship was parasitic, not symbiotic. Now let's talk about the mistakes you're probably making right at this moment. First mistake, chasing or begging. When you feel her pulling away, your instinct tells you to increase your effort, send more messages, ask more questions, plan more things. This increases the perception of desperation and drastically decreases your perceived value. She respects you less and sees you as clingy, as someone with no options, no market value. Second mistake, passive aggressiveness. You express frustration indirectly, with sarcasm, with punitive silence, without clearly communicating what's happening. This generates mutual resentment, confusion, and doesn't solve the underlying problem. She doesn't understand what you want, you don't get what you need, and you both get stuck in a toxic cycle. Third mistake, empty threats. You say you're going to pull away or break up without actually having the intention or the courage to do so. Every week a new threat, every month a fight about breaking up, but you never follow through. This demonstrates a complete lack of conviction and weakens your credibility to zero. She learns that your words have no weight. Fourth mistake, overdoing the withdrawal. You abruptly cut all contact, disappear completely, block her everywhere, with no clear purpose beyond anger. This can lead to a definitive breakup without the necessary clarity, or generate unnecessary panic that doesn't serve the goal of recalibrating the dynamic. Strategic withdrawal is not childish ghosting. Fifth mistake, communicating the withdrawal. You explicitly announce that you are pulling away as a tactic, as a game. You literally tell her, "Look, I'm going to pull away for a while, so you'll appreciate me more." This makes the tactic completely ineffective because she sees it as conscious manipulation and generates deep distrust. The withdrawal needs to be organic, a real change in your focus and priorities, not an announced charade. Sixth mistake, seeking external validation from her. You pull away, but you keep waiting for her to notice, for her to validate your effort, for her to say she missed you. This reinforces emotional dependence and the perception of weakness. You don't pull away for her to notice. You pull away because you noticed. Here is the practical protocol you implement starting today. Step 1. Define your boundaries. Identify 1 or 2 crucial points where you feel disrespected or devalued, and internally decide that you will no longer tolerate them. Write them down if necessary. Be specific. No more accepting last-minute cancellations without a real reason. No more accepting being treated as a second option. No more accepting a constant lack of initiative. Choose your battlegrounds. Step 2. Reallocate your focus. Proactively direct your energy, time, and attention to your own goals, hobbies, and personal well-being. It's not faking. It's real redirection. Go back to the gym, resume that project, hang out with the friends you abandoned. Invest in your professional growth. Your life cannot revolve around artificially keeping a relationship warm. Step 3. Reduce initiative. Stop being the only one to initiate contact, plans, or solve minor relationship problems. Leave space for her to act. If you always start conversations, stop. If you always plan dates, stop. Let the vacuum exist. The vacuum reveals who truly wants to fill that space. Step 4. Observe and evaluate. Monitor her reactions and the relationship dynamic without immediate judgment, looking for behavioral patterns. Does she start seeking you out? Does she get anxious? Does she completely ignore it? Does she test your limits with drama? Each reaction gives you valuable information about her real investment. Step 5. Respond to the positive. Genuinely acknowledge and reward her attitudes that demonstrate respect, initiative, and investment in the relationship. When she makes the right move, when she respects a boundary, when she takes initiative, you acknowledge it. Genuine positive reinforcement works. You are not punishing, you are recalibrating. Step 6. Be ready for the decision. Emotionally prepare yourself to accept the outcome of the withdrawal, whether it's the improvement of the relationship or the recognition that it's not sustainable. This is the step most men can't take. You need to be willing to lose the relationship to save it. If you're not willing to walk out the door, you have no negotiating power. She knows it. You know it. Withdrawal only works if it's real. Now let's address the objections running through your mind right now. You're thinking, this is manipulation, and it's not ethical. Listen closely. It's not manipulation if the goal is to reestablish a healthy dynamic, communicate value and boundaries, not to control the other person. Manipulation is when you act with malice, when you want control for control's sake. This is about acting with personal integrity, about stopping yourself from diminishing yourself, about communicating through actions that you have value and non-negotiable boundaries. Second objection. I'll lose her if I pull away. And here's the hard truth. If she pulls away completely or doesn't react positively to your withdrawal, it means her investment was already very low, and the relationship wasn't truly solid. Withdrawal is a test for the truth of the relationship, not a sentence of loss. You are merely revealing what already exists, not creating something new. Third objection. I don't want to be cold or distant. You don't have to be. It's not about emotional coldness, but about self-protection, focusing on yourself, and maintaining clear boundaries. True attraction comes from your self-sufficiency and not from your constant emotional availability. A woman doesn't want a man she can completely control. She wants a man with his own center, with purpose, with boundaries. Fourth objection. This won't work with my woman. She's different. Human dynamics and the principles of value and scarcity have universal patterns. What may vary is the intensity, time, and form of reaction. But the underlying logic persists in all cases. No woman values a man she can permanently take for granted. This is basic biology, psychology, and emotional economics. Fifth objection. It's selfish to put my needs first. No, taking care of yourself and your boundaries is not selfishness. It's fundamental self-respect. A healthy relationship requires two complete and self-sufficient individuals, not one who constantly diminishes himself for the other. If you don't respect yourself, she won't respect you. It's that simple. Sixth objection. What if she finds another man while I'm pulled away? If the threat of another man is her only motivator to value you, the relationship is already built on a completely fragile foundation and is not sustainable long-term. Do you want a woman who stays with you out of fear of losing you, or for genuinely valuing who you are? The answer defines the type of relationship you accept. Let's talk about the concepts you need to understand on a deep level. Frame. This is the lens through which the reality of the relationship is interpreted. Whoever defines the frame controls the dynamic and the perception of value. If the frame is that you need her more than she needs you, you've already lost. If the frame is that you both choose to be together because you add value to each other, you are in healthy territory. Intermittent reinforcement. This is a behavioral psychology concept where inconsistent reward creates dependence and a search for validation. Many women unconsciously apply this, giving you attention when you pull away and withdrawing it when you get close. You need to break this cycle, not reinforce it. Tests. These are subtle challenges that a woman imposes to evaluate a man's value, strength, and boundaries. She cancels at the last minute. She says something slightly disrespectful. She compares you to another guy. All of these are tests. How you respond defines whether you pass or fail. Boundaries. These are clear personal borders that define what is acceptable or not in a relationship. Without boundaries, you are an open door for any behavior. With clear and maintained boundaries, you are a fortress that only those who deserve it can enter. Scarcity and abundance. The perception of how available or valuable something or someone is, directly influencing desire and investment. You, always available, are too abundant, therefore, without value. You, with purpose and boundaries, are scarce, therefore desirable. Intrinsic value, the value of a person for who they are, independent of the relationship or external validation. You need to believe in your intrinsic value before expecting her to believe in it. If you don't believe, no technique will save you. Self-sufficiency, the ability to be happy, complete, and fulfilled without depending on your partner's validation or constant presence. This is the foundation. A self-sufficient man attracts. A dependent man repels. Reactivity versus proactivity. Reacting to external stimuli is a position of weakness. Acting according to your own principles and goals is a position of strength. If you react to her every mood swing, you are reactive and weak. If you act based on your values and boundaries, you are proactive and strong. Disengagement. Gradual reduction of effort and energy in something that is not yielding the expected return or that violates your boundaries. This is not cowardly surrender. It is intelligent allocation of emotional resources. You invest where there is a return. You disengage where there is only extraction. Here is the ultimatum you don't want to hear but need to. Every day you postpone this decision. Every morning you wake up and continue in the same dynamic. You are choosing. You are choosing to continue being devalued. You are choosing to continue being the second option. You are choosing to continue in this extinguished furnace, pumping energy that doesn't return. The cost of inaction isn't just a bad relationship. It's your dignity. It's your self-respect. It's years of your life invested in a dynamic that erodes you from within until you no longer recognize yourself in the mirror, until you wonder how you got there, how you became this guy who begs for attention, who accepts crumbs, who lives to keep someone who doesn't show real investment. You have a binary choice now. You can close this video, go back to your routine, pretend you didn't hear any of this, and stay exactly where you are. 6 months from now, you'll be in the same situation, or worse. Or you can make the decision to implement the protocol I gave you. Define your boundaries today. Reallocate your focus this week. Reduce your initiative, and observe her reactions in the next 15 days. The result will give you absolute clarity about where you really stand in this relationship. Either you regain respect and rebalance the dynamic, or you discover that the relationship had no real foundation and you free yourself with dignity. Both outcomes are victories if you act with integrity. Now I want you to do something. Go to the comments and share a withdrawal experience you've had, positive or negative, and what you learned from it. Or describe a specific boundary you know you need to set, but haven't had the courage to yet. This vulnerability in the comments will help you process and commit. And if you want to continue receiving direct and unfiltered insights about relationship dynamics, subscribe to the channel now. I also prepared a free quick guide on the 5 signs that you need to strategically pull back, link in the description. Download it, read it, implement it. In the next 48 to 72 hours, you need to have identified at least one clear boundary you will set and one specific behavior you will stop reinforcing. It could be stopping initiating 100% of conversations. It could be stopping giving in on a specific point where you always give in. It could be reallocating 2 nights a week for your personal growth. Choose one, implement it, observe. The result will give you an initial sense of control over your own actions and emotions, and greater clarity about where your energy should be directed from now on. You deserve a relationship where you are chosen, not tolerated, where you are valued, not used, where you are respected, not constantly tested. But that relationship only begins when you respect yourself first. Strategic withdrawal is the thermometer. Use it. The temperature it shows will define the next chapter of your life. Decide now.